guess it kind of has come to a conclusion, although there's more to come. He now officially owns Twitter. He's
runs it. Yeah.
He's firing places. Yeah, he's going to be the CEO. He's making changes. I saw a video of him talking about maybe trying to copy WeChat a little bit, the Chinese thing, to kind of get this, like, I don't know how WeChat works, but the way he was talking about it almost seems like it's like what he had talked about earlier, kind of like an everything app, where you just go for all of the things that you might want to use.
He's going to do a subscription service apparently too.
Yeah, in what way? Like to subscribe to Twitter or to subscribe to individuals on Twitter?
No, I think it's for Twitter. So I think they're going to have a two-tier thing where they have a subscription, a paid system, and also free system, right? Like,
okay.
And you'll be able to do more, obviously, with the paid. But I will now sign up for Twitter. I'm putting that on my list.
We should make a Transcendent Monkey account.
We definitely will, yeah, for sure. So we will now be on Twitter.
There's already been pictures of people leaving with boxes, so
that's hilarious.
He's been firing a lot of people.
Yeah, he fired that lawyer chick.
Oh yeah, that Vijaya chick that was on Joe Rogan and Tim Pool. Yeah, she's
the useless
gone.
One. Yeah.
She's an idiot.
Didn't she say some shit about him on? Didn't she
know.
tweet a couple things about him or something?
Maybe. I think she had an 8-figure salary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were paying her over 10. I think it was 13.
There's going to be
a
lot of fucking clean out going on there as far as bloated salaries. Bye.
Oh yeah.
Think about how much money they'll just save just from that alone. I bet you he gets, I don't know, 75 million off the books right away.
Up front, it's going to cost them a lot, because I saw an article that was estimating that with kind of, contracts, policies, essentially golden parachute deals, it could cost Twitter like $130 million right off the gate just for all those people.
Just by money.
Just by getting rid of these people, fucking $130 million gone. But
worth it.
He might bring free speech back. He might. We'll see, because now he kind of walked back on that a little bit, where at first he was like going to unban everybody day one. Mm-hmm. Now he's not doing that, and he says he's putting together a council. Now, I guess if anybody's going to put together a council, I would trust Elon versus anybody, because I don't think he's ideologically motivated, or he is ideologically motivated, but the ideology is to maximize freedom. So it's not about like pushing certain views. I think that's a good thing. Although, yeah, we'll see if we'll see how far he walks that back, and if we do get characters like Alex Jones and Donald Trump back on Twitter.
Oh, I can't see it not happening.
It has to.
How the hell doesn't Trump at least come back?
Trump for sure, probably.
He's a former president, like him or not. He's a former president.
Well, and Musk himself, he criticized that by saying that it was immoral to do that. Not just that he disagreed with their decision or whatever. He said it was immoral.
Yeah. It's so much different. It means so much more the fact that he was president, because if you look at the first time around, he got 60, I don't know how many million votes. The second time around, he gets over 70 million votes. So you have almost half the country voting for him. They want him as president. They want to hear him. You know what I mean? Yeah. And even some people.
But that's why they don't want you to hear it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's going back to that Sam Harris comment. Yeah. Where he said it doesn't matter what Hunter Biden had on that laptop. Hunter Biden could be doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't care. Yeah. It's not worse than.
It's just so weird to me, because for something like Alex Jones, let's say arguably he has, 10 million diehard fans, that pales in comparison to a former sitting president that got essentially half of the country behind him, voting for him. And even the people that didn't vote for him, there's a number of people in that sphere that probably like Donald Trump, or probably fine with him, just don't want him as president. You have all these different spheres, and people that voted for him.
Well, there were people that made careers just instantly jumping on every time Donald Trump made a tweet. People that hated the guy, but it depended wholly on him for their
that's
jobs.
what I mean. So if you asked me if I were a U.S. citizen, and you asked me to vote between say Donald Trump and I don't know, somebody competent on the other side, and that had good policies and stuff, like, because obviously when you're putting in now like Democrats versus Republicans right now, it's crazy because of the woke shit. But if it was just like regular back in the day, Democrat versus thing, I would have voted for a Democrat over Donald Trump, because I don't think he's presidential. I just think he's like, he doesn't represent that office very well for me. He's more like a showman and that kind of thing. But
even from the campaign and everything, I don't think the reality of his presidency had any business being the way that it was compared to like the qualifications that he had and the way that he presented himself. Like it went way better than it seemingly should have.
And considering that, they were just fighting him on everything. Mm-hmm. He had to do everything. Oh yeah, pretty much anything he had to do was that he got done was through executive action, right?
They were lying to him and all that.
And now it's funny, they mocked him and criticized him for that. And Biden's the most the executive branch does everything now. Like they don't even go to the Senate for shit now. It's just everything's an executive order now. Mm-hmm. More executive orders under Biden than any president in history. Right,
yeah,
so it's funny that he's the one complaining.
They can just hand him the sheet of paper and say, "Sign this."
Executive action.
Yeah, This article right here is saying that the company has scheduled an employee meeting for next Wednesday, but some staff did not receive invitations. So there's people who are just uninvited now, who I guess maybe haven't been officially fired or going to be fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have to know who you are. You'd know the writing's on the wall for you. I wonder about those people though that are like in the middle, where they're thinking, maybe I'm here, maybe I'm not. Like I don't know. Maybe
it's hard when it's 75% of the staff. I mean, I'm sure maybe from within, I think that's a little bit obvious where the bloat is.
Yeah, I think 75% is an exaggeration.
Maybe, but regardless, maybe from within you can see that there's a lot of bloat here. Like we have people doing nonsense jobs. Like I forget where it came from. I think it was like a book that was written that was detailing how we have like almost an epidemic of jobs where like
you have to justify what you're doing.
You have to justify the fact that you're there, right? So like maybe you're going to be working 8-hour days, but you're going to get all your work done in 2 hours. And so you need to at the very least pretend to be busy for that 8 hours so that nobody catches on that you can do the work a lot faster, so that they don't, fire you or bring you on as part-time or whatever. Twitter seems like a place that might have a shit ton of that.
Yeah.
A lot of people doing nothing really productive at all. Just a lot of bloat, a lot of nonsense going on. And so from within, you might be able to see that. It's hard to know, though.
Yeah.
Especially...
I think when they say 75%, they mean like the executive staff.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I mean,
like the rest of the staffing is probably quite a bit less. Right? Like
it depends. It really does depend on what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they have a lot of employees, which is crazy to me. I don't know why they have so many fucking employees.
They're doing. Well, they're censoring people.
It's like so you hear like Facebook having so many employees, but Facebook having employees makes a little bit more sense because they've got all kinds of advertising and there's
got a lot more things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot more things going on. But with Twitter,
plus Facebook as a company is a lot bigger than Twitter. Like they're doing things, like they have Oculus now, and they're building out the metaverse, and there's like all these other projects that they're involved in. Right, so that sort of rationalizes the massive employee
Twitter feels
base.
like kind of like a one-trick pony.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So it's like I just don't know where you'd. I forget what it. I read it somewhere, but I can't remember how many employees. But let's just say, 500 employees or 1,000 employees. How do you justify that many jobs for a social media company that's really kind of only doing one sort of thing?
Yeah.
Are they all
especially since it's increasingly more and more automated?
Yeah,
like the algorithms picking up on things.
I feel like you could do that with like 50 people. You could probably run the site with 50 people.
Yeah.
And
probably.
Effectively, yeah.
Probably.
You have like 10 people that are in charge of like advertising and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you'd need a certain amount of lawyers and that kind of thing. Then you'd have a bunch of tech people, maybe 20 different tech people, and then top end management, maybe 10 people, right? Like I just can't see why you'd need that many people, but maybe that's what he does. Maybe he just cuts it right down, cuts all the bloat, and then
there could be a lot of moderation that needs to happen, like just in terms of you do have rules and you do have, like you don't want to allow certain illegal things on there. And even though, like, I personally would say that it shouldn't even be on Twitter to moderate that stuff. But if they want to, that's fine. That's whatever. It's less of a big deal for me for Twitter to want to jump on top of anything that could potentially be illegal than for them to just be censoring speech. But I bet you they do get a lot of like reports and things that they have to manually go through to make sure, is this a BS report or is there something legit there? And that probably does take a lot of time and a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this before. If there should be like tags as far as what you are. If you're calling yourself a media, like a news media outlet or something like that, that you would have to, if you're caught a certain amount of times publishing nonsense that hasn't been vetted properly or isn't true or whatever, right? Then you just get delisted as that. You're no longer that. You're no longer like a news media outlet. You're just a whatever. Like they let's say they had 5 different like sort of monikers, which you are. If you're an independent pundit or whatever, you're a columnist or something. You've got all these different things. But then they could say, we're going to downgrade you from this, and you'd have that top pinnacle sort of thing to say, this is an absolute trusted source. That they're going to vet all their stories. And then
the problem is you can't trust anybody to run that sort of thing and to run it properly.
No, I know what I'm saying though is like if you had that sort of
if you had a system that worked that did that, that would be better.
Yeah, and I mean because realistically, back in the day, there were those sort of trusted news. I'm not saying that they weren't lying.
Yeah, that's the hard thing to determine.
The New York Times and stuff, right?
Yeah.
At one time, nobody questioned what the fuck the Times were doing because they were like, no, they were
the news.
They were the news. Like you went to the Times to verify
to
shit.
Figure out what was going on.
If you heard it somewhere else, you went, I'm going to check this in the Times and see if the Times has something about this. And you do that. And people still do it, like Google. But they're catching up now. People are going, Google's censoring information, which is so ridiculous that they do that. Because you're taking what you used to be a name. Like, I'm going to go Google that.
Yeah.
Now people don't even say that as much anymore. Like, or if they do that, they'll be like, I'm going to check Google, but maybe I should check DuckDuckGo or I should check somewhere else.
Check like 3 different search engines to see what comes up because the results are different when they really shouldn't be.
How do you fucking ruin that? You've got it. You that should be, if it's almost like the same as if you run a business and you have an impeccable name. For you then to just spend the next couple of years fucking your name up. And then now people go, oh, well, that place used to be somewhere that we trusted, but now it's like, I don't know what's going on there anymore.
Yeah.